You know, I was thinking about, like, in the past couple of years that I've been doing this YouTube thing and trying to get back into the music scene, I've stumbled across a couple things that I've been really surprised about. And just about everybody that I speak to, whether it's through email or Twitter or Instagram or in person or over the phone, is that right now has one of the best times. One of the best times to be a guitar player. That's right. It's like a renaissance that's going on. I mean, you could not get this type of quality instrument, even in the cheapest ones of all, for what you're getting for your buck. You know, there have been subscribers, people that have just commented talking about this, especially like through some of my Epiphone demos and stuff. These guitars are just, in others too, like Squiers and other brands, that are just crazy good and very inexpensive comparatively. If you think about inflation and all that, you know, the Les Pauls and Strats and stuff, you think how expensive they are today. But really, they're just going along with the rate of inflation pretty much. Whereas like these Epiphones and others, these go way below the rate of inflation, way below. We would have paid for something like this the same price in, or even possibly more, in the late 1970s, mid to late 70s, right? That cost me the same today. Now, how is that possible? Well, it is, which leads me to another aspect of this, and that is all of the coverage and exposure these instruments get on YouTube. That, of course, the internet obviously, you know, did not exist before the, you know, the mid-90s. So you figure pre-internet, really, it's just word of mouth, and you have to trust people, and you have to, you know, go along with your thing. But now, it's almost impossible to go wrong with all of the video reviews of the different instruments and pedals and amps and all that stuff. Now, take this for instance. I've got this little 20-watt orange amp here. Now, this is my son's. I don't know how much he paid for it. I know that the oranges are not inexpensive, of course. I own a 35 RT. This is a 20 RT. But I got mine used, and I got a screaming deal on it for about half price from Guitar Center, believe it or not, and it was used. And my son got this one used and his Epiphone Les Paul for, you know, it was just pennies almost if you think about it. And they're smaller, less expensive amps than this. Now this guitar is about as inexpensive as it gets, but it's just a total rocker. I've had it looked at, it's been gone over. Nothing wrong with it, and these P90s are probably worth more than the entire guitar itself, go figure. So it's a great guitar and just beyond affordable. So whether you're an older player or a younger player or whatever type of player, man, this is really the time. And I'm also, you know, I could be wrong, but I'm kind of sensing that this time right now should really be, the time is ripe for a real rock and roll type renaissance. Now let's think about it. You have the original rock with the Chuck Berrys and all those guys in those days, okay? Then you have, like, in the 70s, you have the David Bowies and the T-Rexes and Elton Johns, who kind of revived the real rock and roll root thing, but with just from a completely different angle. And if you're a disciplined player and you've got a good head on your shoulders, I think the sky is the limit. Now let's take time. I think the time is ripe. I don't know why. It's in the air. I don't know. You tell me. But, you know, just keep watching YouTube if you're a newer player or whatever, and just keep, you know, put your nose through the grindstone if you're really serious about it. This is the time. This is the time. Study that old rock and roll. Give yourself a foundation. Study the you know, through the 60s, 70s, and 80s rock and roll. Study today's music, and then make your own, right? The more that's in your head, the more exposure you have to different kinds of music, the more flexible, the more varied you're going to be, which means you're probably more than likely going to be able to be a better musician or songwriter. Broaden that spectrum, play like you mean it, give it your all. Now is the time, right? I keep hearing that all over the place. Again, wherever I go, people are saying, man, this is the time to be a guitar player, and there's just no question. These Epiphones are fantastic guitars, and I've got them all at great prices. The Fenders too, right? And everything I have, right? I've used my head, and sometimes buy used, sometimes new. Who cares about name brand? Even though I have Strymons and Marshalls, I also have Epiphones and Boss. You know what I mean? So, well, thanks for joining us in this video. Again, look on our playlists. We have demoed all of this stuff at least once. Several pedals and amps and all that. So look through our playlists, also how to play certain songs and all that. If you like what you see, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. And everybody that has subscribed, we truly, greatly appreciate you too. Alright guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next video.